47-year-old Steve Martin is one of the most respected figures in Australian motorcycle racing. Born in Adelaide, Martin enjoyed a long and distinguished career that saw him claim the World Endurance Championship, an Australian Superbike Championship and numerous other blue ribbon events. In the World Superbike Championship, Martin is a veteran of 183 race starts, but since retiring in 2008, he's established himself as one of the most sought-after commentators in the sport globally. He's also an official ambassador for the Australian Superbike Championship. He says the ASBK has played a pivotal role in his career.
The ASBK has been a very important part of my life. I mean, if I didn't do the ASBK, I wouldn't have got to race overseas. It was so tough back in the early days. You know, you had a lot of the stars that ended up going overseas, and I was lucky enough to compete in those years when, you know, it was very tough and the competition was hard, and I think it toughened me up.
Steve says many of the sport's top Australian riders owe a lot to the National Superbike Championship.
When I look back, you know, the Baylisses, the Courses, you know, the Anthony Goberts, there was just about anybody who ever made it anywhere in road racing. They all came through when I was there, and you know, we had a lot of factory involvement back then as well. So many guys that went on to win world championships came through this Australian Superbike Championship.
Martin describes his role as an official ambassador for the Australian Superbike Championship as truly meaningful.
It's really good for me to be back and involved with ASBK after a long stint overseas. I was over there for 12 years, but to come back, it just made sense to get back in touch with my roots, and it's the best thing I ever could have done because it settled me. To be involved in watching all the young guys doing what I went through, it really gives me a buzz. Being an ASBK ambassador is an absolute bonus because it means I get to come to the track. Not only can I help and give advice to all the young riders, but I get to get out on track as well and give, you know, the Ride of the Life pillions, involved with the TV, and, you know, offer advice if it's needed as well from, you know, the experience and all the other championships I've done. So for me, I really do feel like I've come home.
Martin, who in addition to his superbike exploits also rode in 4 500cc Grand Prix, relishes the fact that the sport produces great camaraderie between riders, and it wasn't always the case.
You know, back in the day, you know, we wanted to just beat each other so bad that we could never really be best of friends. I had a joke with Jolesy the other day about he helps a young rider out, and I said to his young rider, you got to listen to Sean Giles at this track because at this track he's very fast. He was slow everywhere else. You know, that's something you couldn't say back in the day, but you can get away with it now.
Ironically, this weekend's host venue at Wanneroo in Perth has proven a happy hunting ground for Steve Martin.
Yeah, I mean, it started in '89 for me here. I won my first Australian Championship here. In '90, I won my first Superbike race here. It really has been a special place for me, and I enjoy coming here. It hasn't changed a lot, but it really does bring me back to that, you know, what we were talking about before, which is the grassroots of racing.